Guys, so today on Boosted and Broke TV, we're going to be working on my 2012 6.7 liter Cummins. I'm going to be giving you guys a tutorial on how to replace the grid heater in it, the OEM grid heater. We're going to be replacing it with a Fleece Performance grid heater delete kit, and we're going to be upgrading the intake horn on it. I'll go ahead and show you guys right here. So this is what you guys are going to want to look for on yours if you still have the OEM. This wire right here connects to this bolt. If you guys can see it right there, my thumb's on it. So if you wiggle this and it is loose, by all means stop what you're doing, get it replaced as soon as possible if it hasn't already destroyed your motor. So what happens is this right here will break off underneath this intake heater and it'll roll down to your 6-cylinder, destroy your motor. It'll bounce around, roll around. You'll either have to replace the motor or do a complete rebuild. So anyways, so if you can grab it and do like I'm doing now, it doesn't move, it doesn't shake, it's still good. You still have time to replace it. Still would recommend doing it ASAP though. If you grab a hold of it and it does wiggle a lot, I can't show you because mine's not like it, but you'll see if you can grab it and it wiggles a lot, it's time to replace it immediately. Have the motor checked out, make sure everything is still okay with it. So first things first, you want to go ahead and remove actually your negative terminals off of the battery. Want to go ahead and get those out of the way. Make sure they're out of the way. You're going to want to do this on both. Sorry for the background noise. I live right off of a highway, so you guys will have to bear with me on that. So we're going to go ahead and remove those. Tuck them out of the way. Make sure they're not going to ground to anything. So we got the batteries disconnected. We're going to move on to removing everything. So I'll go ahead and grab my tin over here. Pull this off. I just take everything and sit it up here on the cowl right here so we don't lose anything. Go ahead and pull this off and get it out of the way for you guys. Now try to keep up with everything, where everything goes. I have a method. I'm sure you guys have your own methods of keeping up with everything. I just set everything up on the cowl. Anyway, so we'll go ahead and pull this, slide it out of the way, and then we'll get to work on the grid heater here. Go ahead and disconnect this on the back side here. Get that out of the way. That's already out of the way. That's unplugged. Alrighty. Now we are going to have to take these injector fuel lines off to get this out, along with the fuel rail here. So we'll get to that here shortly. So let's go ahead and get into removing these injector fuel lines, specifically this one for right now, so that we can get the intake horn off. It's going to be a 19 millimeter, and they're going to be relatively tight. Once you break it loose, you should be able to spin it off with your finger, and let's get you guys in here so you can see. So we're going to go ahead and pull that one. Alright guys, this one's going to be a 19 as well. You guys are just going to want to go ahead and break it loose. I've already broke it loose, just pulling it off with my fingers now. And you guys can also just go ahead and pull this out of the way. Just kind of move it out of your way for right now so you can get to this. There we go. We're going to want to take this and just sit it to the side for now. And pull these 10 millimeter bolts right here. I don't know if you guys can see those, all right there. You got one right here. Probably gonna have to get a ratchet wrench to get that off, but may be able to get it without that. So anyways, let's get started on that. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my swivel on this one. If you guys don't have a swivel, I'm sorry. Anyways, we're going to pop all these out. Make sure you don't lose these. The new kit does not come with them. And you got one back here in the back. You guys probably can't see it, but we got all these pulled. 1, 2, 3. It's gonna be a booger right there. Just shake it. Well, those 2 bolts are being a pain to come out, so we're just gonna go ahead and lift it up and pull these 2 out while we got it up. Set these up here on the cow, just sitting right up there. Yeah, I'm watching myself work there, guys, so. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and just twist this a couple times, give it a pull, and it should pop right out like that. Very dirty, very built up. Actually, the grid heater doesn't look too horribly bad, if you guys can see that. Anyways, let's move on to the next step, guys. Alright guys, so the next step is going to be removing this injector fuel rail you can see here. So pretty much what I did on this first one right here, you're going to want to do on the rest of them. I'm not going to show you guys all of them because it's just going to be me fighting and struggling to get these off. But we're removing this fuel rail right here, if you guys can see this right here. That's what we're going to be removing. And I would say to take and plug these holes right here if you can, just so nothing gets in them while you're working. But this is mainly what we're trying to remove right here, is this plate right here is your grid heater. Alright guys, now that we have our injector lines off, which I just did a quick time lapse of me pulling those off, you're going to want to undo your plug back there in the very back. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let's see if I can get y'all in there. Yeah, that plug back there in the very back, take that off. And then we'll take this plate off. There's 8 bolts. You have 1 here, here, there, 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 and there. You'll also have to pull these off of the studs. And once I get that off, I will show you guys that. I also put this rag over the grid heater intake just so nothing got down in there. Also, this one right here is going to be a 17 mil. You'll pull that off and then you have to pull your feed line off. But anyways, I'll get this pulled off and then I'll get right back to you guys. Alright, as you guys can see, we have that intake heater plenum off. It's dirty in there. This thing is filthy here. And this right here is the bolt that will melt, fall off, and fall into the number 6 cylinder and cause the catastrophic failure that you guys saw earlier in the video. Anyways, let's go ahead and take this and set it to the side. So we have the pusher style intake horn with the Fleece Performance plenum delete kit, and I will get back to putting that on here shortly and you guys will get to see that. We are going to be torquing these bolts down to 18 to 20 foot-pounds, so we're just going to go with 18. I'm going to go ahead and torque down the ones on the bottom, and then when we get the fuel rail ready, go ahead and torque those down as well too. So let's get started on this. While I'm tightening this bolt, so I did clean up the edges right here. I even took a vacuum, stuck it down in there, vacuumed out a bunch of that soot that was in there. I would recommend it. You guys don't have to if you don't want to. It's completely personal preference. It's just what I would do. And like I said, cleaned up around the edges for the gasket. That I definitely would do, so the other one can seal properly. And I used a metal gasket. It's what came with The Fleece Performance, pretty good gaskets. I know a lot of the cheaper ones, they've had issues with them blowing out after being on for just a couple weeks. All right. That one's good. Still good. I just like to go back and double check all of them. Still good. And still good. All right, next we'll be putting the fuel rail back on. Rail set on there. We're just gonna go ahead and tighten these bolts down here. Also, I cannot stress enough keeping that clean while you have it sat to the side. It's very important to keep it clean. Also, be careful when tightening these down if you've never used an electric ratchet before. These are only 18 foot-pounds, so just keep that in mind when using electric power tools on this stuff. Let's go ahead and torque all these down. Probably gonna have to go get a deep well for some of these. Now we're gonna put all this little stuff back on. This has to go back down here. This is gonna have to be tightened on. Then we'll put this back on, and then all of our injector fuel lines will go back on. So probably do a time lapse of that with you guys so you guys don't have to watch me fight and struggle with those, and I'll be back with you guys shortly when we're done. I forgot this stud right here. I got to pull it back out because this has to go in it, so just make sure you guys remember that. Alright you guys, so we got the fuel line mostly put back on, left off the last fuel line for the number one. I'm gonna go ahead and put the intake horn on. Go over here, grab it. This is gonna be the intake horn we're going with. Like I said, it's a pusher style, and we'll be mounting it on shortly. Also, always check this right here with a flat edge. Make sure it is straight, flush with your flat edge. So almost forgot, you are going to want to take your map sensor off there. You got a, looks like a star bit here. I will let you know the size here shortly. And it's going to go from the top to the bottom of this intake horn. It's going to mount right there, so I will show you guys what that looks like in just a second. Alright you guys, so that was a T15, so we're about to go install this on the truck. You guys, so we got the intake horn just kind of sat in here. What I did is I went ahead and I put it in here first, left this loose, sat it on. I put all my bolts in just to kind of keep me help lined up. On this one, this pusher style, they give you a 6 bolt, so they add a hole right here in the middle. I would recommend going ahead and getting that one started first, because that one's going to be your biggest pain in the butt. and then tightening down the rest of these 5. So let me tackle that real quick, and then we'll get right back with you on that. All right, you guys, so we got everything tightened up, all of our bolts tightened down. Went ahead and put the injector 1 fuel feed line back on. I need to go ahead and plug this back up. You guys definitely don't forget to plug everything back up. I need to go ahead and pop this back on. Don't forget to plug your map sensor back in. Remember the part that we took off of the old horn and put on this one underneath? Make sure you put that back in. And then I need to tighten this back up. And you won't have anything, so since you took the throttle body off, obviously the throttle body plug will not plug back in. Not sure if it's going to throw a check engine light or not, but hopefully, you know, we'll check it out and see what it does. Let me go grab the bracket and I'll be right back. All right, you guys, so we did go grab the bracket out of the box. This bracket is going to mount right here to hold our oil dipstick. I'm going to pull these 2 8mm bolts real quick. And we'll get it mounted up. They supplied us with a nut that I have misplaced somewhere. Let's see, where did I put that? Anyways, we'll find the nut, but I'm going to use one of the old bolts to go in here, run it through here, and that'll hold our oil dipstick down. As soon as I get that nut and get this put together, I will show you guys the complete finished product. Alright, you guys, so we got everything finished up, put together. Let's see if I can get you up there. So you will see that it did away with the infamous bolt that was there. That's the whole point in doing the grid heater delete. Also, we got a lot more airflow here by doing this pusher style intake horn. Here's the bracket that I was telling you guys about earlier. Got it done. So yeah, let's start her up and see how she does. Alright, you guys, so we got everything installed. Went ahead and hooked up the batteries. We're going to go ahead and start it up for the first time and see how it runs. Alright, you guys, sounds pretty good. Sounds good, looks good. Don't forget to prime your motor, turn your key over a couple times, probably 5 or 6 times before you try to start it, so that you get fuel back in the fuel rail and all the injector lines. Get up here and make sure nothing's leaking. Like no fuel's leaking. Looks like everything's good. Take it for a drive and see how it does. So I wasn't able to drive it right then. It is dark now. I am driving it now. I haven't really noticed a big power difference, which they don't claim that it makes a big power difference at all. They say that you do get better throttle response, which I think it might just be in my head, but I think that I'm getting better throttle response, and I'm definitely getting a lot better airflow, which they do claim that it makes a lot better airflow, which makes sense with the grid heater going and everything. But I would definitely do it again just to get rid of the bolt. You know, that was the whole point in doing the grid heater delete. But anyways, I will get back to you guys as soon as we get back to the house. Alright you guys, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see more content like this, and don't forget to smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It'll help the channel out a lot. And if you guys don't mind sharing this with your friends, family, anybody that you think might enjoy it. And if there's something specific you guys want to see, just put it in the comments below. I'm going to read all you guys' comments, and if there's something that we can make happen, we'll definitely do it. And again, I appreciate you guys for watching. Don't forget, stay boosted, stay broke.